Hello, welcome to Shorty September. I am so excited that I get to do the reading sprints for this. And I feel like I've gotten some comments that people aren't familiar with reading sprints. I thought it was something that everyone did because it's like what works best for me. And reading sprints are generally like, oh, hello. Hi, Elise. Do you want to guess my nail polish color today? Reading sprints are, a little bit of chatting and then putting on a timer. Everyone does their own thing, usually reading, but you do whatever you want to do and we'll just hang out. And I figured for today, since it's like the first reading sprints, that we will mostly just like do regular reading sprints and we can, you know what? You are just a genius. It is Cassiopeia. That we'll just read together, get a head start on our reading for the month, and then maybe later in the month we'll do like an annotate together kind of sprint or try out other things. But I personally just want to get ahead on my Shorty September TBR, which I made a whole video for. And I haven't really been checking off what I've done yet, which I could do. But for today, I am planning on reading Life on the Refrigerator Door by Alice Culpers, I believe. And this is like a book that is told only through notes between a mother and daughter back and forth on like the notes that they leave for each other on the refrigerator door. So I think that that'll be super fast. And I've never heard of it before. I didn't look up reviews or anything. I don't really know what the tone of it is. I don't know if it's an adult book or a YA book or what. I just thought it sounded fun and it sounded like such a shorty kind of book. And I think that's like what one of the fun things about the month is that you just like read stuff that you might not otherwise. And then I also have The White City by Carolina Ramkist. And I also want to get a head start on this because this is my one that I've had for a long time. And I want to make sure that I actually get through this month. Like I have some others that could switch in and out, but I have had this a long time and I feel guilty about all of the Hi, Amelia. Yeah, I'll catch you on a later one. I'm very impressed that you stayed up even long enough to say hello. But I'll catch you later. Thank you for saying hi. And this one is about like a mother and infant dyad in a criminal Sweden type of story. So any of the books that I have brought over from the US to here and I still haven't read yet, I feel a little bit guilty about. So yeah, I want to be prioritizing those and anything else can kind of get switched in and out. So I think I'm still probably going to start with this during the sprints just because I am very curious what it's like, and I think that I could easily knock it out in the sprints and then move on to my other book. But if you're reading, yeah, let me know what you're reading, what you have already read for Shorty September, etc. I might go ahead and color in some of these now that I've actually finished stuff. I do have my colored pencils here. Yeah, I read A Mercy on audiobook and I don't remember a single thing from it. So I feel like I should revisit it. Maybe I didn't even finish it, but I remember it was before I was into audiobooks and I like actually checked out like the CDs from the library and I was like listening to them just in my car. And I don't think that was like an ideal way to read that. But I love Toni Morrison, so it's like really weird for me to like not be able to recall anything. And my only idea is maybe I didn't actually read it and I got lost somewhere in the switching of the CDs, that it was like something that I didn't actually finish. Whereas now, like I just like stream everything from Libby. Um, it's a lot to like, even with like a short book, it's like 3 or 4 CDs worth. I am, so impressed with the people who were on the audiobook train before, um, streaming was really a thing and they had to use tapes or CDs because it's a lot. Let me see what I've actually finished so far. I did finish Vampiricine, which was the vampire novella that I got off of Itch, which I think I'm gonna make a video about, just because I don't think people are using Itch for books that much for people who were not already using Itch for video games. And it's really easy. Like, it's so easy. The money goes straight to the author because it's all, self-published stuff. And then you're not using Amazon. The author's getting all the money. And then whenever you buy it, you get like a PDF and an EPUB, and it's like DRM free. So it's like so easy to put onto your Kobo or Kindle or whatever. So I think I will make a video about that because I want more people to like know about how to support indie authors, and especially whenever it's like authors that may not be able to get traditionally published, or increasingly so as we're getting like more and more censored, that um, people who are getting traditionally published while everyone is thinking it's still financially viable, that might be something that changes over time, just because it's a wild world we're living in, and I wouldn't trust businesses to just like keep supporting queer authors or whatever if they decide that it is no longer, if they decide that's too woke to read books. Um so I at least have colored in that one. Maybe I'll color in this thing, since this was like such a beautiful thing that Heather made, and then I took the beauty out of it by only having a black and white printer. But I think I'll go ahead and start with just like a 10-minute timer. And then if there's other people who have ideas about like what length of timer they want, but might as well start a Shorty September reading sprint with a short sprint. I think that makes sense. So I will add that over there. And yeah, we'll just start with like a 10-minute one. Do whatever you want, read, hang out. I'm not going to police any of it. So Hello. If you're reading or I guess eating breakfast, cooking breakfast, um, then I hope that you've had a good sprint. I Yeah, like I thought this is going really fast. I'm already almost like halfway through it in 10 minutes. Um, it definitely is a YA book, but it's like from YA before that was even a thing. Like it reminds me of books that I would pick out of the library whenever I was, like, I guess, a preteen in middle school that were just in the teen section. Like, there was no real marketing of those books. It was like you kind of graduated from, like, children's chapter books and then to adult books. But there was, like, this one little set of shelves that was just for teens, and it is like one of those kind of books. It's from 2007, and the reason I guess why they have to leave so many notes is because it's like the last time where not everyone has a cell phone yet. Like the daughter definitely doesn't, who's 15, and the mom, it's not exactly, her daughter keeps telling her that she needs to get a cell phone so that they can contact each other. But it's it's okay. Like it's I guess, like, what you would expect from, like, a teen book from that time, like, it's kind of, uh, inoffensive. I guess it kind of feels like not like a Lorelai and Rory Gilmore kind of vibe, but, I can see it being appealing to people who liked Gilmore Girls or something like that, and then wanted more kind of mother-daughter stories. Yeah, so I think that it's just gonna be fine the whole way through. There's not really any excitement to it, like, it is just kind of like the daughter having to the mom is like an OBGYN or somehow works with in the, nursery at a hospital, and she's not there most of the time, works nights, and that's one reason why they have to leave so many notes too, is just because like, they're not ever in the house together. The daughter just, like, lets herself in and doesn't really see the mom a lot and has to do a lot of the chores and cooking around the house, and, um, the mom has cancer, and that's, like, revealed slowly through the messages, like, learning about it as time is passing. So I guess that's, like, the big event of the book, but it's not really telling it any way that's, like, novel. I guess, like, the style of writing is novel. I don't think that this would get published today, like, it's an interesting conceit, I guess, to have everything being told just through notes, but, it's not doing a lot with it. So, but, we're just vibing. That's, like it'll be over, I guess, in about, like, 10 more minutes. I think this is maybe a 25-minute read, so that's what I've that's how my sprint went. If you're joining now, like, let me know if you're reading anything, if you've already read anything for Shorty September. I need to maybe color in another one of my um, prompts on here. I did give 4 stars to Vampiricine. What else have I actually finished? I finished The Sense of an Ending, which I'm gonna watch the movie for too. That one was, like, really interesting, honestly, that I've been thinking about it a lot, and I ended up giving it 3 stars because I felt like it was trying to do more than it was aiming to do something that different than what it accomplished, and I feel like it undersold on its strengths and wanted it to be about, like, this, like, mystery or, like, a twist. It was kind of paced like it was a thriller. Not a thriller, but, like, there was, like, this mystery to solve that was gonna be solved by the end of the book, and the twist or mystery wasn't very mysterious to me, but I've liked a lot of the other stuff that I was doing in the book, so I felt like it was I don't know. I could have gone either way on that. And what else have I read? I've read a lot of books actually. I think I just haven't picked one about for a book that's out of your comfort zone. I think is that what I said this one was gonna be? That it was like I don't read YA, so that was like kind of my book that's out of my comfort zone. I think so. Um, but I didn't finish anything yesterday, but I've finished like 5 things so far. So I feel like I'm on track to at least finish a book every day in Shorty September. I did reading yesterday. I just didn't finish anything between audiobooks and I started Pen Pal yesterday and it's like not as short and I just, had other stuff going on. So I might as well just, like, start another sprint. Let's keep it going. I'm just gonna do another 10-minute one since that is, like, I think the amount of time basically that I need to finish this book. So that's a little bit selfish on my part, but that's okay. Hello. I haven't quite finished my book yet, but very nearly. What was for breakfast? I have been in a beans on toast era. like they have like those little like snack cans of beans at the store with like it's like black beans and corn or chickpeas and rosemary, like whatever those are. Having them on toast with hot sauce. I feel very English. Wow, that is so impressive. I don't usually like cook for breakfast. Like sometimes I'll do pancakes. Um Usually Daniel will cook like a tofu scramble on the weekends. Like we usually have like a tofu scramble for breakfast. That is very impressive though. I during weekdays, I usually don't. Like, I usually make, like, a protein oatmeal or something like that. I'm, never wow. I just feel like that's, like, a very healthy a healthy thing. Like, I think it's I'm not usually, like, hungry right when I wake up, and I think you're supposed to be. And I always, like, have coffee first before I eat anything, which you're also, like, not supposed to do. But good on you. Does your fiance eat with you? Does he work from home or he has to go somewhere? I will definitely during the oh my gosh, you're just like a lady about the house, like with your big breakfast. I'm so jealous. That's like such a I mean, I guess I don't have to be jealous. I could be living that way, but I'm not motivated enough to make myself a big breakfast. Yeah, see, I that's that's how I was living whenever I was um working. Like my breakfast was always like a protein shake on the way to work or a protein bar on the way to work. There was no romanticizing it at all. It was just like a very pragmatic breakfast. But is anyone reading? I I feel like this is like one of those books. Like sometimes you'll read a like a YA book and it kind of transcends the YA-ness. Like I just read Puberty Blues and I felt like that was really interesting because it was about 13-year-olds. About these it was these two girls when they were 18 wrote the story about when they were 13, and I felt like maybe it was because they were still teenagers when they wrote it, but it had like a lot of insight in like a specific teenage voice where this feels more like what would be a good story for a teenager to hear? And it's, like, not something to really be read as an adult, I don't think. I think it's supposed to be, like if you're reading this as a teenager, be like, "Oh, I'm so grateful for my parents. I didn't realize, these things that frustrate me about my parents, maybe they have, something else going on." Hello, Crystal. What have you been reading so far? I have been reading like a little bit of like every genre, I feel like. What are your possibilities? I'm like almost done with this, and so then I'm going to be starting something new as well. Um, I don't know exactly how long I'm going to be going, but I'm happy to hang out. I have nothing else to do, so I'm happy to hang out and just read and get a lot done. But you know what I mean? Like it's more it feels like what an adult wants a teenager to hear, whereas like something like Puberty Blues is like this is actually what being a teenager is like, which like this does not really remind me what being a teenager is like at all. It's like a very moral story, about More so about, like, the daughter learning to respect the mother in new ways rather than the mother needing to learn anything from her teenager. So I feel like even if I had read this whenever I was a teen, maybe if I was, like, a preteen and, like, being made to think about, like, "Oh, what would the experience be like if your mom got really sick?" And like, that would be life-changing, and most kids are not thinking that that could happen to their parents. So I think that it would have been I would have liked reading this, but I don't know. I wouldn't recommend this to to anyone else. It definitely seems like a product of its time. Um, it doesn't feel very 2000s, even though, like, she just asked for an iPod, but nothing else about it says this author really knows what it was like to be a a teenager in the 2000s. I don't know, but I would recommend Puberty Blues. That was fascinating. I feel you. Like, the way that I chose was, like, I know I can finish this in sprints because it's, like, so short, and this is my one that I've, like, had forever, and so I need to push myself to start it soon. Like, I don't want like, if I failed anything on my TBR, I wouldn't want it to be the one that I said, "I've had this way too long and I need to read it." You know what I mean? So, sprints are gonna keep me accountable here. You could also just, like, do, like, a try a chapter thing and then see what you're feeling. I'm doing just, like, 10-minute short sprints right now, um, but, you know, we can change them in the future if people feel like a different time would be better. Usually whenever I set timers for myself, I'll do more like 20 to 30 minutes, but this is working for now, I think. So I think we might as well just start another sprint because I'm like ready to finish this and start my my next book. Hello. Hey, it's good to see you. What are you reading? Or have you picked out something to read yet? Crystal, did you pick something to read? I am have started a new book. I did finish this. I think it's a 2-star, even judging it based off of the time and I it's not just like, oh, it's like a YA, so it's not up to my standards. I think even thinking of that, I think it's just like not something that I would really recommend anyone to read. Although, it was a good way to pass 25 minutes, I think is how long it took to read this book. So a true shorty, a true shorty. And then I was able to start The White City, which so far, I mean, I'm only 6 pages in, but like I really do like the writing style, and it's very the only thing is like it's very cold, and I would like to not feel cold because it is cold here. See, I don't know. I don't want you to get distracted on whenever you're trying to get work done. I appreciate you coming and hanging out. I I don't know. I guess it depends on how um I don't think I will be going till this afternoon. I mean, I guess that's only like an hour away, but I don't know. Who knows? I might be, but get done what you need to get done. I appreciate you being here. And if not, then I I assume that you don't want to be waking up at 3 a.m. whenever I do like my European time zone sprints, but there will be at least another one that's during our day. I can really only do them like at this time anyway, like for Australia, which is kind of inconvenient if you're Australian, but anytime that it's the evening here, I usually have someone sitting right there playing video games. So not something that I can do so much in the evenings. Ooh, I read that years ago. I read that like probably the year that I really got back into reading, like I don't know, 2017, 2018. I remember really liking that. And Andrew Cole is actually an Australian author. Um, I like to just shout, it's not really of import to the story. I don't even think it's set in Australia, or I don't think it's really set really specifically anywhere. But there's just like so few Australian horror and thriller authors that I'm aware of that I like to I like to point it out, and I because I have difficulty finding them myself whenever I'm looking for it. But I remember really liking that. Um, that there is some really striking imagery in it that, there's been so many horror books that like I liked at the time, and then like trying to recall them, I don't really remember much, but I do remember liking that one. I think it is pretty spooky, but I can't really remember the specifics about like the plot, just like some of the imagery. Have you read Pen Pal? That's like the other one that I started yesterday as like one of my horror shorties. And I feel like I've heard mixed things about it, but I'm really liking it so far. You know what? I just love to give a fun fact. No one asked me to to be doing this, but yep. Are we still feeling like a 10-minute timer? I feel like it's pretty good. I also probably need to like stretch during this next timer anyway. So I'm happy to make it longer if people prefer a longer one. I know, yeah, I was kind of, like, surprised that I hadn't read it. I It's like another one of those books that's adapted from, like, a no sleep story, I think, like the subreddit No Sleep, and I feel like I like most of those, like, I don't mind something being a little bit, um, corny at times if the premise is, like, unique and interesting enough. Not that this book is gonna be corny, but I feel like that's kind of like the, um, bias against No Sleep kind of stories, or like the two-sentence horror stories where it's like, um, my mother walked into the room to say goodnight, but my mother died 5 years ago, and, like, that's the whole story. Like, I feel like that's kind of like the the thing about, like, No Sleep too, is just, like, trying so hard to get a twist that it's like, "What were you even doing?" But, I am liking Pen Pal so far. Um, well, I might just go ahead and make it a 20-minute one just so that I can get, up and stretch around and get some reading in, so Hello. Welcome back. How did everyone's sprint go? I'm about 40 pages into this now. And so far, it has mostly been mood setting, and it seems like we're actually just about to get into whatever the plot of it might be. It's interesting. I've never read a story that was so much about like a mother and a newborn and taking care of this newborn while also dealing with like the father of the newborn is out of the picture. I don't remember if I think he's just gone. I think he's just gone from her life. And now the authorities, I think Swedish authorities, I think this book is set in Sweden. The Swedish Economic Crime Authority has just showed up to, I think, interview her about maybe all of the stuff in her house that is stolen or, funded through criminal means. So I'm not exactly sure what this will be going for, but I'm liking it so far. It's an interesting topic, very emotional about the feelings of a new mother and taking care of a child while also there's like this other significant thing that has happened in her life. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, I remember there being like a house, like I think it was like mostly a haunted house story. Um, but I'm glad that it like gets off to a good start. I don't know if I like typically have a preference about horror books that really like start spooky or something where it like gets increasingly unsettling. I think there's something to say for both of them, or something that just like starts with like an event that is like already deep into things. Every time Roland comes and cuddles with me, I get so much fur all over me. I just saw like a wisp of fur like go across the camera. So it feels like it's snowing a little bit. What's been your favorite thing that you've read so far, Crystal? How many books have you gotten to? This one that I'm working on right now is my granddad shorts. So I think I can start coloring him in. Yeah. There's just like so many different ways to write a horror book. I've been like working on a horror novella, and how I'm feeling about it is that it needs to not be spooky at the start. But I don't know. I'm trying to think about like if I didn't know where the story was going, would this still be interesting right now? Or would you feel like, not that it's not interesting, but would you feel like that it's a horror story if it takes so long to get to the horror? Like, how long will most people put up with no spooky stuff happening before they're like, is this even a horror book? Like, do I even want to read this? But also, it is like one of those kind of stories where I just want to write it. No one else has written it, and I have the idea, so I want to write it. Heather is so talented. These drawings are so good. I feel like she just gets better every single year. Especially whenever there's like, you're doing the same prompts again, and you have to come up with all new illustrations for them. It's very impressive. So I'm giving him a little red coat. I think this is the way to do it. I think that, rather than feel sad about my grayscale printout, that I can just color it myself. It's fine. Galloway's Gospel. Huh. Is that a horror story? I feel like I remember seeing that title on NetGalley. Sounds interesting. I'll have to look it up. I've never heard of the audiobook either. These are both new to me. All of the books that I'm reading for on audiobook are things that are just like things that I found. Right now, the one that I'm reading on audiobook is called Invisible Kitties by Yu Yo-Yo, and it is Invisible Kitties, a feline study of fluid mechanics or the spurious incidents of the cats in the nighttime. And like a it's translated from Chinese, and it is like the fantastical world of cats, and there's different not really vignettes, but like short little tales about cats, and it's very cozy. You would really have to like cats already to enjoy it, and I just, like, don't really feel, like, so strongly, one way or another about it, but I thought it was gonna be like the Invisible Kitties is, like, Invisible Cities by Italo Calvino, like a reference to that, and I just thought it was gonna be maybe, like, a little bit more inventive or something other than just, like, cozy feeling. Oh, that sounds lovely. Is it cold where you are right now? It's, like, still, it's, like, just starting to be springtime here, which is, like, one reason I woke up and I was so congested today, so sorry if I sound super congested, but it's, like, springtime and now my allergies are acting up starting today, like, I feel like my throat is sound like, I feel like my voice sounds a little bit rough, but we're I feel fine. We're rolling with it. That sounds so cozy, though. I could really do with a blanket. Yes, you saw that? Yeah, no, that was, Roland's cat hair. He sheds so much. Like, I have it all over me still. Um, kind of embarrassing. I have to vacuum, I mean, nonstop. I have, like, like a Roomba kinda thing too that helps out a little bit, but it just, like, instantly fills up because he sheds so much, and I think especially now that it's, like, starting to warm up a little bit, he is shedding even more. Daisy's not so bad. She's asleep right down there, so I can see her, but Roland loves to be in the midst of things. No, not burning a candle, but that I should have. You'll probably see more fur floating around, that's embarrassing, but what are you gonna do? What do you like, I brush him all the time. He is a machine. He makes so much fur and he throws away so much fur. What are you gonna do? Eat him, Phil. Huh. I that's why I got out my phone. I was like, got out my phone and then I started looking at my Libby. I wanted to look up this book, Galloway's Gospel. I have some Yes, I did see this cover. The cover is beautiful. Like, that looks so good. I don't think you can even tell how good it looks, but, yeah, it has a blurb by R.L. Stine. I was kind of thinking, like, the cover kind of looks a little bit goosebumpsy. Oh my gosh, wait, this sounds good. I love anything with a cult in it. Um, that sounds fun. The ratings are all over the place, though. I'll have to, like, maybe read some of them and see if what bothers them would bother me or not, because everyone's so different on horror and, like, the kind of stuff that they like. Um, so yeah, I think I'm about ready to start another sprint. I think I'm gonna try to go to it'll be noon here, but, like, another 30 minutes, so I might do, like, 2 more, like, 10-minute timers rather than a 20-minute timer this time. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, like, I feel like a lot of horror books that I love, people do not like. Like, I especially, like, Clay McLeod Chapman books, I feel like people don't like, I love them, and I feel like no one else really writes like him, but I feel like a lot of people just, like, do not like I mean, obviously, a lot of people like him too, he's a very popular author, but, I feel like that's the biggest thing where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this book is so good," and people are like, "That is mid to me." I'm everyone is so different, and I guess, because it's people like different scales of, like, coziness or weirdness or, um, trying to be, like, actually scary, like, horror is, like, such a huge range of things. I like basically all of it, though, like, I don't think that there's, like, really like, I don't like extreme horror, too much, but, I feel like I can get into a lot of different things, like, I like, weird transgressive stuff, but I also like just kind of, like, gothic stuff that's not even really horror. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, it's probably a while till it cools off really in South Carolina. I was always able to keep my house cold in Louisiana, though. I mean, except for, like, the very hottest times of the year, but here in this house, if it just y you cannot air condition it doesn't really have the same kind of air conditioning, for one thing, and it also doesn't have heating. So, whatever it feels like outside is basically what it feels like inside here. Wow, look at this. I, I do miss, some I do miss the South sometimes. I It is like, I think the thing that I miss most is this kind of stuff where it's like I feel like everyone from the South is, ready to say hi to other people, and that's, like, not really people here are very polite, and they're very kind and nice, but they're not very friendly, like, effusive friendly, the way that I think people in the South usually are. Okay. Gonna go for another 10-minute sprint. Hello. How did your reading sprint go? I'm now almost 60 pages into this, and it's about like 100 pages left. I feel like I'm really vibing with it. I still don't know exactly what it's going for or what the if it has like a plot at all, or if it's just it is more pensive in tone, very moody. I don't know that I've ever like this might be the first book that I've ever read that's like set in Sweden too. I don't know that I've read any Swedish books before. This is like one of my favorite covers that I've ever had. Like it's like a shiny cover and then it has like this matte streak on it. I just think it's pretty cool. Interesting way to make a all white cover feel interesting, but it does have deckled edges, which I am a deckled edge hater. I don't think it's that bad though whenever it's like a floppy short book. Like it feels more normal for it to be like that. Whereas like a hardcover and like lots of it, just don't vibe with it. I really like it's interesting that so many of them do have deckled edges because I feel like people are either haters of them or neutral on them. Like I don't feel like anyone's like, yeah, I wish all of my books had deckled edges. Is my thinking. Up to page 29, these chapters are very short, 2 to 3 pages, and it's the type of story that does give me that spooky feeling, something lurking in the shadows. That's good. I need to like read other stuff by him, because that's the only thing that I've read by him. I love short chapters too. That really makes something feel like a shorty. Like it could be 100 pages longer, but if the chapters are 2 to 3 pages, it just goes by so fast, in my opinion. I don't know who else I might be coloring next. I love the granddad short guy. He looks like a Studio Ghibli character to me. Like he just looks so sweet. He looks like he would be in my like Stardew Valley town. I think I will do the Rip Shorts one next, since I've actually completed that one already. Yeah. What is your shortest book that you have on your TBR for this month? Like, what is the thing that you think is going to take the least amount of time to read? Because I feel like 25 minutes it's going to be tough to beat for me. I don't think I have anything that's going to take less time than that. Maybe I can add something, but I don't really have any comics or graphic novels on my TBR yet. I could definitely check some out. I think even A Bear Called Paddington is like my comfort read, and I think that's going to take longer to read. I don't know exactly how long the book is. I have it on ebook, so I know it's short, but I'm not exactly sure how short. So I don't know. I really do want to add at least one comic or graphic novel to the TBR, because I like reading them anyway, and they are good shorties. if you're just hopping in, tell me what you're reading for Shorty September. What you we're gonna do at least like one more sprint pretty soon. I'm just coloring in my ripped shorts on my Shorty September, not zine this year. I don't know what you would call this. Um, my artwork, so that I have some color since I only have a grayscale printer and I want it to look nice. And I think it's like fun. It's like a fun way to check it off on top of like coloring in the stars or whatever. I think she's gonna get purple shoes because not all of my colored pencils are in here. I still need to do my Shorty September tag. I haven't even looked. I know I have to go and look at all my past TBRs and all the past prompts so that I can give, a truly informed answer. So I think that's good for now. I like doing it between the sprints just to add a little bit of color. Okay. I am going to start another 10-minute sprint now and then just play it by ear. That might be our last sprint of the morning or evening, but yeah, we'll just see how it goes. think that's gonna be our last sprint for today. I am now halfway through the book. So I feel like I had a very productive time to read a whole book and half of another one. And yeah, I will be back doing reading sprints once a week, every week in September. And next week it will be, I can't remember if it's Tuesday or Thursday next week actually, but I know it's 3 a.m. my time. So I will I will try to be wide awake and bushy tailed, but we'll see. But thank you for being here. Thank you for reading with me. Yeah, this was a lot of fun, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.